Morning to all. Today we are going to deal with the subject legal research methodology. The topic is data collection in legal research. Myself, Uma Maheshwari, Assistant Professor of Law, Bharat Institute of Law, Bharat Institute of Higher Education and Research. Data collection is the middle compartment between formulation of research problem and results of research. Supplying data for research purpose works to fuel for stimulating research process and in majority cases reward or frustration in research treated for quality of data, methods, tools and techniques used for data collection. Collection of data is regarded as fascinating phase of research. Though collection and handling of information, the researcher begins to feel the actual experiment of research. A researcher can either collect the data himself or rely on others for their collected data or information available with them. In both the cases, there is a great need for data of high quality. The selection of data requires great skill and experience. A data is what is observed, is manifest or phenotypical. Data in socio-legal studies, as in other sciences, are based on our sense observations. The word observation, as used here, includes all forms of perceptions used in recording responses as they impinge upon our senses. But response is not a datum. A response is some material or some manifest kind of action, whereas a datum is the product of the process of recording the responses. Data collection method, tools and techniques should be highly standardized so that the data relevant to undertake research can be easily visualized, realized and analyzed. Such expectation cannot be simply materialized in applied and normative science. Law is a normative science. It is a combination which applies both to the society and the norms. It's a source of study are found in law books as texts of legal principles, and the elements have been searched in complex social variables. Therefore, research in the field of law maintain its own methodology, which includes basic patterns applied in other social science researchers with distinct features and approach inevitable in legal research. Legal research process is performed between two common methods, doctrinal and non-doctrinal or empirical methods. Following any one method out of the two requires distinct source of data, nature of data, and their collection methods vary from one to another. Overall approach of research, both procedural and technical changes with individual methods. Likewise, changing in techniques of data collection is also inevitable. In, da- in data collection, stimuli, that is question, test, pictures, or other objects is presented to the respondent or the subject. The stimuli may be classified as systematic stimuli and unsystematic stimuli. By systematic stimuli, we mean those that are kept constant while objects are changed. The unsystematic stimuli are those which lack standardization. Example: question asked in a question asked in an informal interview. Tools and techniques of data collection in doctoral research. Traditional approach for legal research was centric to doctoral research. Even today, doctoral method is the first choice of the researchers in law schools. The primary source of law or those authoritative records of law which are made by the law-making bodies. These includes the constitution of the country, the legislation or statutes made by the parliament and the state legislature, the rules, regulations, orders and bylaws of those bodies, to whom the parliament and the state legislature has delegated the authority, the authoritative reports of the decision of the courts, that is the case laws, the administrative proceedings or decisions or orders issued by the administrative authorities who are authorized to do so, the executive orders and proclamations and treaties and protocols between the countries or the states. The courts recognize the existence of customary laws. The response of the subject, that is, the respondent to the stimuli, may also be classified as systematic and unsystematic responses. Systematic responses have a reference to constant, definite, standardized responses categories. Thus, the response of the subject to a stimuli are recorded. The unsystematic responses are those which are recorded verbatim, which due regard to all possible individual variations and characterological nuances. Bringing these categories of stimuli and responses, we can decide the setting of the collection of data as informal, formal, unstructured, and formal structure. The response of the subjects may be called as acts. Acts may be classified as verbal and non-verbal. As we all know, the verbal acts may be subdivided into oral and written. Verbal acts are acts where verbal symbols are used to communicate. The non-verbal acts are the signals like clapping, bowing, singing, etc. The oral verbal acts consist of the subject replying to the stimulus by the word of the mouth. The other kind of verbal acts consists in writing out the responses to the stimuli. The process of data collection is related to primary and secondary source of data by means of its reliability, census and sampling techniques and methods of data collection. The source of legal data. Primary or field source of internal source of data. It is original information collected for the first time. It is also called as internal source of data as the data is collected directly from the subjects. They are obtained from living persons directly related to the problems or through observation. The primary sources can be again subdivided into two categories, that is direct primary, indirect primary. Direct primary sources. The researcher personally goes and observes events, things, behavior, activities, and so on. He has to display great skills and objectivity. Observation can be of three subtypes, that is participant observation, non-participant observation, and quasi-participant observation, which are dealt in this session in detail in later slides. Direct observation is the best but difficult one. In some cases, it may be either legally inadmissible or physically impossible. Indirect primary sources. As the researcher cannot observe things which occurred long back, he needs to contact those persons who have made observation relevant to this research. This can be done through interviews, questionnaires, or schedules. Secondary or external source of data. This information is obtained from outsider, either from a published source or from someone else who has already worked on the subject. They save a researcher the labor of collecting data again and preventing unnecessary expenditure. Okay, they can be broadly divided into two types, personal documents and published documents. Personal documents consist of life histories, diaries, letters. It is very difficult to obtain them or put them into paper and into the proper use. Public documents come from public bodies, government, and private organizations. Apart from books available in libraries, these categories include reports, records, published statistics, reports of newspapers and journals, and special reports, films, or TV program tapes, and so on. Unpublished documents are not easily available. Documentary sources are very important because past events can be known only through them. They may reveal certain secrets. They can help to save time, money, and energy, but the researcher should verify the content with the help of the other sources also. Works like write about or explain primary sources are called secondary sources. Secondary source of law are those publications which refer and relate to the law while not being themselves primary sources. Traditionally, they are the legal commentaries, legal textbooks, encyclopedias, dictionaries, digests, journals, treaties, and the like. The court will not feel bound by secondary source material if either in support or a propositions of law, although certain materials such as the writing of the learned and highly esteemed authors may well be significant persuasive value in selecting between the conflicting authorities. The secondary material of law possesses only a persuasive value but not an authoritative value. What is the relationship between the primary and secondary sources? The primary data, once collected, will become a secondary data for others. The researcher collecting primary data knows the reality and the limitation of the problem. Second-hand data provides hypothesis for the problem. These hypotheses can be tested or verified on the basis of first-hand data. Secondary data becomes third-hand data if they are mentioned by someone else. Primary data can be considered as being the most reliable. The secondary source are available in a law library. Library research, legal theories, principles, portion of law may be easily referred by sitting in the library. Contents of the documents are self-sufficient to be shown as a good evidence of what law is. On any issue of law and society, explanation and object of law can be referred by bare reading of the text. Generally, in doctoral research, the library plays a major and important role for the researcher. Sources of data available within the libraries are books, journals, reporters, magazines, newspaper, juristic work, reports such as seminars, webinars. Nowadays, seminars, conference, symposium, legislative, judicial, and administrative proceedings, literature containing factual and philosophical information, articles, research papers, theses, dissertations, reports of commissions, court judgments, and case commentaries, etc. Nowadays, e-webinars, that is electronic sources being used as for carrying out a research in seminars. Webinars are being carried out in electronic media so that the people could get access to this doctrinal materials. Okay. The contents of the documents here are self-sufficient to be shown as a good evidence of what law is of any issue of law in society. Explanations and object of law can be referred by bare reading of the text. That is why library research is most convenient way of data collection. The only type of legal research that most practicing lawyers want to do is research into law relating to a case that have hand in hand. Libraries and computers are the two major tools which are predominantly under use by practicing lawyers and researchers. The practicing lawyers and researchers should possess the skill of using them properly and fruitfully. Methods of using libraries and computers are discussed hereunder. Law library, according to Frederick B. Donnell, the law library is a truly a vital factor in the administration of justice, an institution of extraordinary social significance in a free society. Inspiring others is the ambition of men and women of vision who devote their talents to the creation and interpretation of law libraries whose benefits reach out far and beyond the personal interest of the original creators. A law library is considered as a union of three important elements: users, study materials, and the building with furniture and administration. Participation technique is another common pattern of data collection in doctrinal as well as in empirical researches. Doctrinal studies can be performed by using either library, participation, or both techniques. The objectives of doctrinal participative approach is to obtain knowledge by participating in any activity where relevant information may be obtained from verbal statements and presentations made by the persons who have creditable information as an expert, experienced authoritative, not from the printing or web materials. It may be obtained by participating in lectures, seminars, conferences, and proceedings of academic, administrative, judicial, and legislative functions, are some common source of data collection. Here, the objective of participation for doctoral research is only to receive information given by credible persons relevant to study, not to observe and analyze the source of information, like observation of source under empirical method. Participation for data may be face to face or the following are the important techniques used in empirical research: observation, interview, questionnaire, case study, survey, scaling. Observation. Observation method of data collection deals with the recording of behavior of the respondents or the sampling unit. In this technique, the researcher has to observe the required phenomena by himself or by involving himself. The researcher will be able to keep his eye on the entire activity for the accurate data and certain direct inferences. Observation provides an opportunity for empirical study, that is first-hand collection of facts, and there is a scientific precision in this method as facts and related information is collected in a natural situation. From observation, researcher can very well relate the cause and effect relationship. Observation technique can be further classified as participating and non-participating observation. Observation technique is rarely used in legal research, but it is widely used in socio-legal research. It is one of the most important and extensive used methods as observation in socio-legal research. It is both primitive, the most modern method of study. It is one of the primary research instruments. Observation method is that employs vision as its main means of data collection. It implies the use of eyes rather than the ears and voice. It is accurate watching and noting of phenomena as they occur with regard to the cause and effect and mutual relations. According to Young, he says observation may be defined as a systematic viewing coupled with consideration of the seen phenomena. What are the characteristics of observation method? According to Black and Champion, they have provided some characteristics of the observation. According to them, behavior is first observed. It enables understanding significant events affecting the social relations of the participants. It determines the reality from the perspective of observed person himself. It defines the regularities and recurrences in social life by comparing data in one study with those in the other studies. Observation involves some controls pertaining to the observer and to the means he uses to record the data. However, such control do not exist for the setting or the subject population. It is focused on hypothesis-free inquiry. It avoids manipulation in the independent variable. It is one that is supposed to cause other variable and it is not caused by them. Recording is not selective. What are the major steps that has to be carried? Before conducting the field observation, the researcher has to decide whether the phenomena can be studied by observational technique and whether the subject will allow it to be observed by an outsider. When he has decided a plan of observation is to be made, he has to follow the following five sequential steps to carry out the observation method. The first step is preparation and training. The researcher has to decide what, when, where, and how to observe. This enables him to have a clear idea about the problem, research site, research methodology, and training for the initiation of the project. He has also to decide the type of observation. Before starting observation, the research group must make themselves acquainted about the nature and characteristics of the group that is proposed to be studied. The second step is entering into the study environment. The permission of the appropriate authority may be necessary to enter. If the study is related to a government establishment, permission should be obtained from the government. If the study is related to a particular group, permission of the important members of the group may be helpful. After gaining entry into the group, he should identify his role as a participant observer or non-participant observer. He should also develop normal relation with the group. Only to on the establishment of proper rapport, the observer will become acceptable to the group. What is the third step? Initial interaction. He should impress upon the group about the confidentiality of their identification in the study. The fourth step is observation. The researcher should proceed for full observation. The first step is recording. Recording the observation pose a problem. Recording of information should not be done blindly. He should verify the internal consistency and external consistency. The accuracy should be confirmed in order to give greater validity and reliability to the collection. data, use of field charts, etc. should be undertaken. What are the advantages and disadvantages of the observation? The advantages the following has the following. The observation method has the following advantages. Observation is the simplest and most non-technical method. A little amount of training can make an observation perfect. Observation is one of the main source of formulation of hypothesis. Observation at times afford greater accuracy than other methods. Data collected through observation give more convincing result. Observation is important in testing the validity of the hypothesis frame. Observation is common method for all sciences. The observation technique yields data that pertain directly to typical behavioral situation. The researcher is not bound by any rigid position. He can change according to the change in the problem. As the researcher is active observer, he will be in better position to classify the data. Gathering more satisfactory and in-depth material is possible only through observation. Observation is used when the subject of the study are incapable of giving verbal reports. It allows the researchers to record the events as they occur without having to rely on introspective or retrospective purpose of the subject. In observation, one can look closely and purposefully at the situation as a whole and at the same time take note of the results without completing losing oneself in the situation. What are the limitations of observation? Very often, pre planned observation is not possible due to the nature of unpredictability of certain elements. Observation data cannot be quantified. There is a livelihood of bias. Observation is not possible in case of private, social, and legal actions. Observation is limited to the duration of the events. Observation will not give good results when the respondents are not aware of this observation. Observation is not possible when the respondents are unwilling. Observation gives wrong result when the investigator is biased. Observation is not suitable for conditions that often change abnormally. Hypocrisy obstructs the use of observation technique. The researcher remains aloof from the subject in order to be objective. There is a danger of non understanding the meaning of what has been observed. What are the types of that is observation techniques can be classified as participating and non-participating observation, controlled and uncontrolled observation, structured and unstructured observation, simple observation and systematic observation, intrasubjective and intersubjective observation. Totality. Uncontrolled observation, in other words, it is also called as simple or unaided or non-controlled observation. In uncontrolled observation, observation is made in the natural surroundings and according to and the activities are performed in their usual course without being influenced or guided by an external force. The observer visits the place of occurrence of the phenomena in order to observe. He resorts to careful scrutiny of real life situations, making no attempt to use precision instruments. Most of the socio-legal phenomena have to be observed in an uncontrolled way. According to Paulin V. Young, he pointed out life situations which can be adequately studied under controlled and artificial conditions are relatively few. Often we have to observe in the exact social and cultural settings in which the situation has occurred. Uncontrolled observation is useful in exploratory studies. Uncontrolled observation is generally not very reliable. An observer may try to generalize from a single situation. Observation itself may be biased. According to Jesse Bernard, the data are so real and vivid, and therefore our feeling about them are so strong that we sometimes tend to make mistakes the strength of our emotions for the extensiveness of knowledge. The observer may be so overpowered by uncontrolled and strong events that he may regard them to be absolutely true while they are not so. In uncontrolled observation, natural and real phenomena as to human behavior is helpful in study. It consists objectivity. The uncontrolled observation is considered beneficial because of these events only. Classification of observation on the basis of role of researcher's participation. It is a participant observation. Here, the researcher himself being actively remains associated with the other members of the group, as I said earlier, and observe the behavior and activities of the group. Quasi-participant observation. In this kind of observation, researcher does not remain all the present to study group activities. He has to believe on his fellow researchers of the phenomena when he is not present. In quasi-participant observation, the researcher takes part in festivals, sports, and group footing, etc. Here, the researcher is actually a passive participant. The active participation is being made by his fellow members, while in the main activities, the researcher makes his role of participation. Non-participant observation. In the observation, though the researcher remains present with the observed persons, but he studies their activities and behavior as a neutral person. He does not take part himself in the group. He remains limited to the cause of observation, environment, population, or social life of the observed. Interview. Interview is commonly accepted technique of data collection where the researcher enters into the face-to-face interaction with any person or a group for the purpose of seeking certain information as to the fact, idea, or observation relevant to his research. The components of interview are the researcher, the interviewee, the interviewer, and the interview environment where the researcher or any person in this behalf enter in the role of interviewer, another person whose opinion, behavior, and response are observed is called an observed logically for a research objective is called an interview. Expected research data is synthesized from the internal views of other person. Purpose of interview in research is to probe the ideas of the interviewees about the phenomena of interest. Even the terms abstractly related to the search are helpful in that they may pull up the documents that would otherwise not be found. Interview can be classified on the basis of objectivities, purpose, and methods of research. On the basis of objectivities of research, indicators to lead the conversation or observation is prepared. Method of interviewing either the group or individual is decided according to the nature of information and convenience of the researcher. Applied methodology of focus, directed, non-directed, repeated, casual, or formal are all decided according to the objectives and purpose of interview. Above terms are self-explanatory of their nature and objectives. Selecting tools for interview and their construction is an important step of this method. Interview schedule, instruction guide, or arrangement of substances and devices for recording of responses in physical and electronic mode is required. Schedule occupies central place and play a vital role in interview. Schedule is a formal document containing a set of questions formulated and asked to the interviewees with a specific purpose. Schedule may contain direct or indirect, objective or open-ended questions. What is the questionnaire method? The questionnaire is most popular method of data collection for empirical legal research. It is a physical or electronic document consists of predetermined set of questions printed, typed or digitalized, distributed, sent to various persons for their response on such questions. Questionnaire is useful where observation and interview is not possible and in the opinion of researcher it would be just to collect the information for objective and purposive satisfaction of the research. Case study method. A case study is an in-depth study of any unit from the beginning to end. Any person, family, institution, group, caste, community, or nation may be the unit for the purpose of studying. By this study, those qualities of units are focused and analyzed, which makes it distinct from other and special subject matter study in which the researcher is interested to know. It is a qualitative research method where all facts and information relating to such unit from the origin to last are collected by the researcher and all such conditions of life and their relations and the impact on unit is focused, which makes it special. Survey method is commonly used in social science and socio-legal research. Before planning any policy or implementing the scheme, surveys will be conducted to know the experience, observation, and opinion of the people related to the subject. The term survey constitutes two terms, as sir or sword, which means over, and bir or word, which means to see. It means to see over or to look over. H. N. Morse defines social survey as the social survey is a method of analysis in scientific and orderly form and for defined purpose of a given social situation or problem or population. Survey is a process of collecting quantity of facts in a systematic and organized manner to report any social problem or status of facts in certain area of society. where the objective study is to search the information through real public experience, their opinion or feeling as to any social importance. After deciding to survey, the next requirement is to decide about the means of information. Mostly, the information is obtained through schedule, questionnaire, and personal interview. Before launching survey, its units must be determined. It must be definite, appropriate in size, so that the generalized statement must on the basis of information must be coherent. The matter on which the survey is conducted for the first time is called primary survey, and thereby obtained is called primary data. The subsequent survey on the same matter or the same area or group is called secondary survey, and such data is called secondary data. Data obtained from survey can be used for limited purpose only to lay down the reality which is used for making any policy matter. Data is only of persuasive nature, not conclusive one in case of survey. Scaling. Scaling means to measure something by using a unit of measurements. Social attributes and personality traits and human behaviors are not measurable facts. As we couldn't measure our emotions or feelings. Measurements are acceptable only in quantitative research, where the measurable facts are variable. Variable are those facts whose characteristics may vary, and such variations are measurable. Facts studied in qualitative research are called non-variables. Characteristics of non-variable is non-measurable. The qualities cannot be measured. That is honesty, dishonesty, integrity, love, enmity cannot be measured. It is a method of converting series of qualitative facts into quantitative facts, and attributes are turned into variables. Working knowledge of statistics is necessary for analyzing response is obtained by the scaling method. The right example is the psychological test that has been carried out are an example for the scaling method, whereby a qualitative fact is being converted into quantitative fact according to the attributes that are giving the marks. Questionnaires and schedules are used as source of applying this method. Questions are designed in objective form, and then multiple answers are scaled numerically. For particular responses, certain scores are awarded, and the complete response of the respondent is analyzed statistically, and the interpretation of data is made on a probability basis. Data collection is the pivotal of whole research process. A proper balanced focus is necessary for data collection. Various tools and techniques are available for data collection, but researchers should be skilled enough and experienced in administering the tools for data collection. Data collection in doctoral research can be performed by library and participation techniques. In research, common source of data is either document that is printed or digital, or written or verbal communications from creditable source of information. In empirical or non-doctrinal research, various methods are available according to the object and purpose of the research, and the nature of data is subject to the other conditions of the research. No method or technique is conclusive according to the changing nature of social problems. Their studying techniques are also changing gradually. Thank you. Thank you.